All right, let's talk about popularity. Childhood popularity. Evoking memories for anybody? All right. So first of all, what does it mean to be popular? Sometimes when we use that word, we will evoke stereotypes of the sort of the mean girl, or the mean kid, the alpha that kind of makes the life miserable for all other kids. That's not what makes someone popular, fitting with that particular stereotype, which is very much fed by certain movies. And so popular children are children that are well liked. When we study popularity, when we study peer relationships, we will do things like ask a class of children, a group of children in the same grade at the same school, some unit of children, and we'll say, okay, so out of the people in your grade or the people in your class, tell me which ones you like, or listing the students and saying, do you like this person or not like this person? Or are you neutral? Do you not care? We do that sort of thing. To be labeled as popular in research on popularity, you get a lot of like votes. A lot of people say, I like them. All right. It says nowhere in there that you have to be mean, very importantly. And if you are mean and a lot of people are like, I hate that kid, they think they're so awesome, but they're mean, then they're not popular because they're getting a lot of dislike votes. All right. So very importantly, popular means well liked. Let's make sure we keep the definition straight. And we see that research shows that being popular or unpopular can be predictive of future outcomes, even well into adulthood. And we see that what makes a child be liked depends on context. All right, it depends on the culture of a particular school or neighborhood or community. It depends on cohort, like historically, what is valued, and sometimes other differences. What is tolerated in a particular school, who happens to be at that particular school or in that neighborhood. So, it's not always predictable who is going to be liked in a particular group. But if you are well liked by a lot of kids, you get labeled as popular. There are two types of popular folks. All right. We see from research that you have one type of popular child that is friendly and cooperative, and people like them because they're nice. But you also have some that are popular, but they're also aggressive. And so perhaps they are respected for kind of being the tough kid, the powerful child in school. They've kind of reached a certain dominance, a certain point in the hierarchy. So you have very different types of children who are being labeled as popular there. We do see that children who are popular tend to become adults who are popular, and they have certain advantages in a variety of contexts. So, it seems to be beneficial to be popular. What about the unpopular children? All right, there are many ways to be unpopular. If you paid attention to human behavior at all, I'm sure you can probably anticipate that. There's not just one way to be unpopular. And so we're going to focus on three kind of general categories of unpopular children. First of all, we have your neglected but not rejected children. All right, so neglected children, they're not really noticed by their peers. If you ask, like, who do you like in class? They may say things like, oh, I didn't realize that person was in my class. Or they'll be like, I have no opinion. I know nothing about that kid. So the neglected child, it's not that people don't like them. It's just that they don't have an opinion on them. They don't notice them. They don't give any thought to them. We do find that the neglected, not rejected children, they don't particularly like school. They don't enjoy their status, but you don't see psychological harm from this experience, right? It's not fun, but it's not like it's awful, all right? Another category, aggressive, rejected children, all right? So these are the ones who are aggressive, but they don't become popular for it. They are aggressive and people can't stand them for it. All right, so they are disliked by peers because of antagonistic, confrontational behavior, and they may become something called a bully victims. This is we're going to talk about bullying in a future video, but this is someone who bullies people and is bullied back. And you do have some in that situation. Sometimes the aggressive, rejected children have something like untreated ADHD, or they have family conflict that's not being dealt with. There are a variety of reasons that someone could end up in this situation, but the idea with the aggressive, rejected child is people dislike them because of their behavior. Their behavior is seen as unacceptable, unacceptably disruptive. Now, what about your next category, withdrawn, rejected children? Withdrawn, rejected children, they are disliked by their peers, but instead of being the aggressive type, they are shy. They may be perceived as weak or meek. They are disliked by their peers because of timid, withdrawn, or anxious behavior. The very quiet child, the child who unfortunately can be very easy to bully because they don't fight back or they cannot fight back. All right. And one thing we see with them is they are a likely target of bullies because they are an easy target. We'll talk about that in the future video or videos about bullying. All right. So those are your three categories for unpopular children. So in the next video, I'm going to start talking about bullying.